Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome. The Doctor is in, and we are back with another installment of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All. And thank you, Bethany, for the lurk. Glad to see you here. Give me just a moment. All right. So, guys, check out Bethany ZZZ. She was last playing Apex Legends. Totally chill streamer. Totally worth checking out. You'll be glad I sent you. And let us get into this. Oh, hold on. Forgot I needed to turn on my controller. That helps. There we are. Perfect. Move the screen a bit. Oh, and I need to hydrate just a little bit more because never seems to be enough. Anyway, if you're listening, Beth, you would, how's your day been? All right, let's see. Turnabout, Big Top, Part 2. Let's see. Trial. Good morning, Max. Oh, I need to move my mic a bit closer. There we go. Max? Milk. What? If I don't have a glass of milk before I go on stage, I just can't function, sweetie. It's a stage? Don't worry, there won't be a stage. All you have to do is sit down. I guess. Nick, Max is really nervous. That's understandable. Hey, my sweeties. But what? You don't think I should fly, do you? Huh? You know, you've got to make a good first impression. When I enter the room, maybe I should fly in and warm up the crowd a little. No. We can't be having you flying around the courtroom. It just wouldn't be right. Imagine if you hit someone. Don't worry, Max. Just do what Nick says and everything will be okay. Oh, sweetie. What is it this time, Max? Why don't you try flying into the courtroom? Or why don't you try flying into the courtroom? I can see it now, the dashing young lawyer flying fabulously in from above. One glimpse of that and everyone in the room will be on your side. Max, really, no one needs to fly today. Nick, what's with that look in your eyes? I like the sound of that. Dashing young lawyer flying fabulously. Nah.
And now the case of one...
What? Your Honor, get on with it!
Oh, sorry, I just realized that the defendant's name is Billy Bob Johns.
So...
Well, isn't the defendant also known as Maximilian Galactica?
Yes, Your Honor, he does often go by that name.
You know, my grandchild is a huge fan of his. I think everyone here wouldn't mind if we called the defendant Maximilian Galactica. It sounds more friendly.
I wonder if that is to our advantage.
Miss Flankarma, your opening statement, if you please.
I hope you didn't bother thinking you'd win this one, Mr. Phoenix, Wright? That spirit channeling trial was a sham. I refuse to acknowledge its legitimacy. It did not count. Do you hear me? She must still be upset about what happened last time. You have no chance. Zero. Zilch. Nada. I'm not losing this case. Why, you ask? Because it is not in the nature of a Von Karma to lose at anything. I guess being born with the name Von Karma is a free pass to be arrogant and annoying. Watch and learn, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'll show you the textbook procedure for proving how absolutely guilty you are. Me? Guilty? What are you talking about? It will be my ultimate revenge. But it's not like it'll bring her dad back. There. Opening statement complete. Now, let's hurry and wrap up this waste of time.
Very well. You may call your first witness, Miss Von Karma.
Detective Dick Gumshoe, get up there, now! Sorry to keep you from work, as I am sure you need every penny you can earn, Detective.
Don't mention it. It's no trouble at all. Been looking forward to this.
Very well. I would like you to begin by shedding light on the events in question.
At your service, sir. All right, Detective, you may proceed with your testimony. The night of the crime, snow was falling until 9:40 p.m., making it extremely cold out. All the circus performers were gathered in the big top to practice their routines. The practice session broke up around 10 p.m. The murder itself took place in the plaza in front of the lodging house at 10:15 p.m. The victim was found bent over a wooden box, dead as a doornail. The cause of death was blunt force trauma that snapped a vertebrae in his neck.
Well, at least the vertebrae in his... At least he didn't write the name of the killer down.
I see. He was beaten to death. Here's the autopsy report for the victim. The court accepts this into evidence.
I have Lady Catherine joining me. My kitty cat.
A blunt object. Very well. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
The night of the crime, snow was falling until 9:40 p.m., making it extremely cold out.
And thank you for the honk, Wild Talon. Glad to have you here. How's it going? Let me ask you about the snow.
It was nearly a blizzard up until the time of the crime.
Did it pile up?
Yeah, it wasn't such a big deal. Maybe about an inch and a half was on the ground.
Going well here. Ah, nice, nice. Glad to hear it.
The snow froze in place and stayed on the ground until the next day.
Snow. Let me see. There's got to be more to this. What's the matter, Nick? I need to take a look at the court record.
Mr. Gumshoe, what were the members of the circus doing on the night of the crime?
Okay, what's this here? What's in the court record? Crime photo. Wrong button. Okay. The night of the crime, snow was falling until 9:40 p.m., making it extremely cold out. Wait. I guess that might become relevant later. Anyway.
All the circus performers were gathered in the big top to practice their routines.
When you say all the circus performers, who do you mean?
Everyone but the dancers and the staff were there. Regina the animal tamer, Mo the clown, Brand the ventriloquist, and of course the defendant, Maximilian Galactica, and his victim, the ringmaster. Oh, I almost forgot. Regent the tiger was there as well.
Out of curiosity, what about the circus monkey?
When I was investigating yesterday, he happened to snatch my wristwatch. Detective, you are welcome to file a police report after these proceedings. The practice session broke up around 10 p.m.
After the practice was over, where did everyone head off to?
Regina was playing with Region while Mo went back to his room tired from work. Band of ventriloquists went to the front gate, absorbed in his own world. The Ringmaster and Max went off to the Ringmaster's room to talk privately. Talk privately, huh? That's awfully suspicious. You wouldn't happen to know what they were talking about, would you? It seems they were negotiating Max's salary.
Actually, Max was asking for Regina's hand in marriage.
The murder itself took place in the plaza in front of the lodging house at 10:15 p.m.
And thank you for the lurk, Wild Talon. Appreciate it. I'd like you to be a bit more specific about the events at 10:15 p.m.
Okay, not a problem, pal. We got a witness that told us how the whole thing went down. Ow!
This is totally meaningless. Time to move on.
All right. We'll just have to revisit that testimony later. Detective Gumshoe, would you mind telling us how the victim met his end? The victim was found bent over a wooden box, dead as a doornail.
A wooden box?
That's right. The victim must have been carrying the wooden box when he was killed. Carrying the box, huh? It was a rather strange wooden box, Your Honor. What do you mean? Well, it was much heavier than it looked. Not to mention it was locked. Locked, you say?
Victim was hunched over this 20-pound box that boasts a small but strong lock. This may be my only chance, so I might as well ask some questions. What are the contents? Do you mind telling us what was inside that box?
Well, when we found the box, it was locked tighter than Fort Knox.
Also, reminder to the chat, if you guys would like to join my Discord, link is in the chat below, as so my YouTube channel, if you want to catch up on anything you missed, and my Twitter account if you would like to get the most up-to-date notifications on what I'm streaming.
So we took it back to the station and cracked it open. All that was inside was this little bottle. Bottle? What is that, Detective? Exactly what it looks like, Your Honor. It's a condiment bottle.
What's inside the bottle?
It's filled with pepper. Pepper? Why in the world was it locked in that big box?
There's only one little bottle in that huge box? I wonder if that has some sort of special meaning.
The cause of death was blunt force trauma that snapped a vertebrae in his neck.
According to the autopsy report, the murder weapon was a blunt object, correct?
You've done your homework, pal.
And you haven't found this murder weapon, have you? The police are searching for it as we speak.
My theory is that it's something the perpetrator ran off with. You would think so, especially since you didn't find it on the scene. No, I bet he made it disappear with magic. Well, I think we have a good feel for the details of the event now.
I guess that's all we're gonna get out of Gumshoe in this case. You mean all we're gonna get out of him is that little bottle of pepper? Now that we have wrapped up with the detective, I'd like to call my next witness.
I'm not even off the stand yet.
Obviously, but that's due to you being slow and unable to take a hint.
I don't know, but wrapped up has such a mean sound to it. I'm a sensitive guy. Thank you very much, Detective Gumshoe. You may step down. Miss Von Karma, call your next witness.
I would like to call Mr. Benjamin Woodman to the stand. She must be talking about Ben the ventriloquist. I wonder if Trilo will show up on the stand as well. That answer your question? Please state your name and occupation for the record.
My full name is Triloquist. I'm employed as an operatic tenor.
Excuse me? The witness called to the stand was one Mr. Benjamin Woodman, ventriloquist.
That robe must be cutting off your circulation. I said that I was a singer. Maybe you don't believe me. Fine. I'll grace you with a song. Me. The world of the law, exciting and daring, guilt or innocence, decided by a judge dressed up like a woman. Well, what do you think?
It had a good rhythm. It's just the lyrics. They leave something to be desired, so to speak.
Trilo, you know better than to insult a judge.
Shut up! Just look at your nose! You'd think you'd have the sense to fix it! It's so ugly I want to punch you in the face and the opposite swelling would help! You know that your nose is the reason you'll never be an A-list star?
Celebrities must really enjoy saying everything that flashes into their minds.
What's going on here? Order! I demand to know who the witness is. Don't worry about me, sir. I'll let Trilo handle this. I'm not worried about you one bit. I'm worried about getting testimony.
Out! You won't get anywhere by trying to figure out this witness. Now let's proceed.
Once practice was over, I left the tent with a clown. Once we got to the lodging house, I ditched him and went back to the plaza's entrance. That's when I saw Max, heading towards the scene of the crime. He was the only one heading that way. How could that punk not be the killer? Then the police showed up and took Magic Boy away.
You saw Maximilian Galactica heading towards the scene. You're sure of that?
Without a doubt, he had on his silk hat, cloak, and the dumb white roses on his chest. How can he mistake someone with that crazy get-up and his nose stuck up so high?
That's enough. I think we all get the picture. Just one thing. You said you ditched the clown.
That's right, dress boy!
Robe.
Well, since you weren't with him, couldn't that mean the clown committed the crime?
He's got a point. What a shame. It was a nice theory, but the clown can't be the culprit.
Why's that?
Here's absolute proof.
Silk hat?
This was found at the scene of the crime. It belongs to the defendant. Ah. Without question, he was wearing his signature hat during practice. If the clown was the murderer, there would be no reason for this hat to be at the scene. You call yourself a Von Karma. You know, it's funny, I seem to recall a certain other case where there was someone in costume to frame someone else. Of course, that guy ended up being the victim.
Well done, Miss Von Karma. Your prosecutorial skills are unrivaled. Well done.
Thank you for stating the obvious. Mr. Phoenix Wright, what do you have to say? Okay. I guess she's the boss again today.
Once practice was over, I left the tent with the clown.
The clown? You're talking about Mo.
Of course I'm talking about that old fart. He's so pathetic, I can't stand him. Just a little bit of exercise and his makeup starting all over the place. Once practice was over, he was 9/10 of the way to keeling over for good.
Poor guy.
We didn't have any choice, so Ben took him back to his room. When it comes to being a first place loser, that guy's ahead of the pack.
Then what happened?
Once we got to the lodging house, I ditched him and went back to the plaza's entrance.
Why the plaza's entrance?
To do some thinking, of course.
It was awfully cold out that night, especially with all the snow around. Wouldn't thinking in your nice warm lodging house been a better idea?
Objection!
Mr. Phoenix Wright, I think you should leave the thinking to the witness. But I'm a good thunker. At least my teachers always said I was.
That's when I saw Max heading towards the scene of the crime.
Are you sure it was really Max Galactica?
Of course I'm sure. How can you mistake someone wearing such a snobby three-piece getup?
Snobby three-piece getup?
Get the wax out of your ears. Lawyers nowadays, you're like talking to a brick wall. Max's three-piece getup. Jeez, could you be any more dense? All together now.
Silk hat, cloak, white roses.
Thank you.
Nick, I think you should put a little bit more effort in preparing your questions.
He was the only one heading that way. How could that pug not be the killer?
You saw Max, and only Max, right, Trilo?
That's right, and that makes him the killer. There was only one person headed that way that night.
That makes quite a bit of sense, and makes Max one suspicious character.
There's more to this story than meets the eye. Is there something amiss in this? Ben only saw Max. That's a bit strange, don't you think?
What's strange?
That you only saw Max? Doesn't it seem like you should have seen someone else as well?
What? Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Who else do you suppose this witness could have seen?
Oh, gee, I don't know.
That's the victim.
That's correct. If Trilo was at the entrance to the plaza, he should have seen the ringmaster as well. Ah! Obviously, the ringmaster arrived at the scene of the crime before the witness could have seen him. Before the witness could have seen him. Anyone with sense could have figured that one out. What are you talking about? The ringmaster and Max went together to the ringmaster's room. Is that, according to the defendant, a likely story? If Maximilian Galactica was supposed to be in the ringmaster's room, why was he, just as the witness stated, at the scene of the crime? Yeah.
I see. Seems at this stage I have no reason to doubt this witness's testimony. And there are clearly no conclusive contradictions.
He's right. A brilliant judgment, Your Honor. Now let's move along with the testimony. Trilo wouldn't happen to have an ulterior motive for incriminating Max, would he? Well, Max is part of that bitter love triangle with Regina, which is probably why Max conked him over the head. Nick, wasn't Ben the one who got knocked over the head? Yeah, I think so. I don't know anymore.
Once practice was over, I left the clown.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Then the police showed up and took Magic Boy away.
Around what time did the police arrive at the scene?
I suppose that would be it had been around. Hey, what time was it?
I think it was around, I'd say a bit after 10:30 p.m., I think.
Practice ended at 10 p.m., so you hung around the lodging house the entire time?
I guess that sounds about right.
Wasn't it awfully cold? I can't believe you just stand outside in that weather.
Well, the truth is...
Will you shut up, you big-nosed dope? Why are you telling him anything extra? Why can't you believe that we just stand outside in that weather?
Well, maybe you were waiting for someone.
What? Who said we were waiting for someone?
Mr. Phoenix Wright, we could all do without your offhanded theories. But this witness, he's cracking under the pressure already. I'm onto something.
Mr. Wright? What do you suppose the witness was waiting for out in this cold that night?
Well... Well, if he was waiting outside in the cold, it was for one person. And one person only. He was waiting for the animal tamer, Regina. Ah! You were waiting outside for Regina to come back to the lodging house. Am I mistaken?
Is this true? Well, you can't really ask me that question.
Who cares who was waiting for that night? What's important is what I saw. Don't you forget it.
Well, the puppet may be a bit stiff. He's right.
All right. There is obviously a reason why this witness was there that night. He spent all that time waiting for Regina to arrive. Moreover, even if someone else would have rocked right in front of him, I doubt he would have paid them a second thought.
makes perfect sense.
What did you just say? The witness saw the defendant at the scene of the crime. However, he did not see the victim on his way to his eventual demise. If you accept that, then you must accept that there was a high likelihood that he could have missed someone else other than Max headed to— Ow! There is absolutely no proof that the witness was waiting for the animal tamer.
I guess you got me. All right. I'll spill the beans for real this time. It's true, I was waiting for Regina. Bane!
Don't volunteer things.
Mr. Quiz, tell us the truth this time, and I mean the whole truth. Were you or were you not waiting for Regina at the entrance to the lodging house?
I was waiting to propose to her.
For what? When did... propose?
What's the matter? You think that humans have a monopoly on marriage?
The matter of public marriage is not under review in this case.
You're the judge! I mean, look at your horrible outfit!
More pain! Thanks to your bumbling, my perfect plan is not so perfect anymore. Now we have to waste time getting to the bottom of some silly proposal by a puppet.
Don't be so surprised that I was gonna propose to Regina! I even had something to give to her! I kept it in my pocket waiting for the chance to propose and give it to her. Of course, I also had it in my pocket that night. It was a present for her. In the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I still got it in my pocket.
Oh?
You're going to propose? You, a puppet?
Don't be so obtuse! Just because I'm a puppet doesn't mean I can't love!
I guess you're right. I mean, just because I'm old doesn't mean I couldn't propose to her too.
Exactly!
His honor is looking a little less than honorable right now.
Okay, Mr. Wright, please continue with your cross-examination.
What was with that sigh at the end? I think I misread the sigh.
Don't be so surprised that I was going to propose to Regina! I even had something to give to her! I kept it in my pocket, waiting for the chance to propose and give it to her. Of course, I also had it in my pocket that night. It was a present for her. In the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I still got it in my pocket.
Oh? And what is this? The witness statement is clearly faulty, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, but I can see nothing faulty. Unfortunately, I will have to penalize you, Mr. Wright.
I must be on the wrong track. Alright, let's try pressing this. So, you're still thinking of trying to give it to Regina?
Of course I am! I spent 3 months' salary on this thing. I'm not gonna give up that easily.
I wonder how much he receives for appearing in the circus. Probably way more than he deserves. How about it, Nick? I think it's about time to unwrap this toy's testimony. That's the spirit, Nick. Give him heck. Judge has a dazed and confused look again. Maybe he should get out more. Let's see. That's weird. Okay, so the ring, the cheap ring with an eerie spikle from T to R is engraved on it, so that's not Max's ring, because his other name is Billy, which means it would be B. So it's not B or M. T's got to be Trilo. Duh. So question is, why was it? Why'd the monkey take it? I mean, because he doesn't have it in his pocket right now.
I even had something to give to her.
What was it exactly that you planned on giving her?
You know exactly what it's gonna give her, numbskull! The only thing I can find that could match Regina's beauty!
Answer his question. What was it?
You're gonna die when you hear this! It's an engagement ring!
Engagement ring? Wow, those two nearly fell out of their chairs. Mr. Phoenix Wright's joke has gone too far. Time for this to end right here. Francisca's whip looks like it's about to lash out at almost anything. One hit from that thing will probably shut someone up for a long time. Pain equals bad. Push on anyway. It may be something of a joke, but this is a historic moment. The first time that a puppet has ever proposed to a human— Ow! I advise you to cut this argument short.
I'm going to have to agree with the defense here. Will the witness please revise their testimony? Specifically about the engagement ring. I'd like to stick to facts, not sociology.
You sure do enjoy sweating the details, especially for a man in a black bathrobe. I'm planning on giving an engagement ring to Regina. Kept it in my pocket. Of course, blah, 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 blah. Still got it in my pocket.
That's why I couldn't. Okay. Because I need to have it on the record that it's the ring that he had in his pockets. Trilo, do you mind if I show you something?
What is it?
What are you talking about?
Uh-oh, looks like they're going to double team me now. Do you recognize this ring?
Ah, that's mine! Give it back! The thief!
Didn't you just testify about this very object? I believe you said...
In the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I've still got it in my pocket.
Why then do I have it right here?
Ah!
What is going on here?
That's... Ben, say something!
Don't beat me out of the spot like that, Trilo.
I found this in Money's room.
Money's room? You mean a room they put money? Like a bank vault?
Ha! That filthy monkey's gonna get what's coming to him!
Mr. Quest, I would prefer if you avoided slandering innocent fiats in my court.
Well, Your Honor, Money really is a monkey in every sense of the word.
Ah, I see. Well then.
Money likes to go after the shiniest things that he can find and gather them up.
Shiny things?
Trilo, when was this ring stolen from you?
Well, I suppose it was that time, you know, that night of the crime.
What did you just say? Details, I need more details.
Well, it was stolen right after Max showed up in the plaza. Right about
when you saw the defendant walk past, correct?
Well, I guess you might, be able to say that. The ring might have, well, it could have been taken around that time. Ah! Ow! Oh! Oh!
Ben, what's with you? Oh, whatever. It has nothing to do with anything, especially not who committed the murder.
It's not for you to decide what has to do with what. Now, Trilo, back to the topic at hand.
I haven't admitted a thing, not I, Mr. Trilo Quist.
What did you do when the ring was taken, Trilo?
You know exactly what I did. I chased after the ring-snatching monkey Money.
But you weren't able to catch up with him, were you?
It's all this slow-lovey fool called Ben's fault. While he was fumbling his way through the snow, that dumb monkey was able to get away.
It is indeed an incredible shame.
Well, this does indeed prove one very important point. Prove an important point? What point could that possibly be? Well, for starters, Ben doesn't exercise enough, but... there's a huge contradiction in this witness's testimony. Contradiction? The witness just testified to the following effect. Up until the police arrived, he didn't move from the entrance to the plaza. However, the witness just stated that he chased after Money the monkey. When the witness was off chasing Money, there was no one watching the plaza. What is the meaning of all this, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Where are you going with this little theory of yours? I'm saying that there's no possible way that this witness saw the plaza the entire time. That's where I'm going with this little theory, which leads me to my next point. It is entirely possible that someone other than the defendant was at the scene.
Interesting, Mr.
Well, then tell me this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Do you have any proof that something slipped past this vigilant ventriloquist? Well, he obviously didn't see the victim, the ringmaster, arrive on the scene. However, that doesn't change the fact that he saw the defendant arrive. The witness is lying. He is blinded by his rivalry with Max.
Well, the defense's argument does hold water. This witness does have a history of animosity towards the defendant.
What? How dare you? I wouldn't lie just to get that dork face in trouble. He's not even worth it. I saw him, no doubt about it. I saw that worthless liar.
Well, just for clarity's sake, let's flesh out exactly who you saw in that light.
Ha! I told you so many times you think you know my story's not changing.
You already changed your story, Stick Boy, and I'm sure it'll change some more. Where there's one lie, there are usually many more behind it. Exactly, Maya. That's why we have to keep after him. Yeah.
I'll give you that I was waiting that night for Regina. But that doesn't change the fact that I saw Max at the plaza that night. He showed up after I'd been there waiting. He showed up after I'd been waiting there for about 5 minutes. I said good evening to him, but he didn't even acknowledge my presence. I'm absolutely sure it was him. I saw Maximilian Galactica at the scene. There's no way I could mistake someone wearing those 3 ridiculous symbols.
So that means that Money didn't show up until after you saw Max.
That's right. Money ran up less than a minute after I saw Max.
Then Money snatched the ring and you went chasing after him?
How long was it until you came back to where you were waiting?
Well, let's see. I'd say about...
I suppose 5 minutes, I think.
So the victim could have arrived on the scene in that 5-minute stretch.
Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination.
I'll give you that I was waiting that night for Regina.
Don't think that's relevant.
But that doesn't change the fact that I saw Max in the plaza that night.
No.
He showed up after I'd been waiting there for about 5 minutes.
That might be interesting. About what time would you say these events took place?
You're one of the dumbest people on the planet if you can't figure it out for yourself. You already know that practice finished promptly at 10 p.m. And you already know that I went to the lodging house right after practice. You don't need to be a brain surgeon to know that around what time it was when I saw him. Just add 10 more minutes, I'm sure you can do that. Now, what time was it?
Indeed, what time was it?
What time was it? Let me think about that for a second. Yo! I'm no good at math! It was 10:10 p.m.
Ah, yes, that sounds about right.
It sounds about right because that's the time I saw Max on the scene. I said good evening to him, but he didn't even acknowledge my presence.
And why would he? Yeah, I don't care.
I'm absolutely sure I was him. I saw Maximilian Galactica at the scene.
You're 100% absolutely sure of what you just said.
I told you already, jeez. I'm 100% absolutely sure.
There's no way that he could be any more confident than that, right?
There's no way I can mistake someone wearing those 3 ridiculous symbols.
Those 3 ridiculous symbols, huh?
Out of curiosity, exactly how many times have you asked that question by now? If you're gonna ask again, I'll answer with a chorus. Everyone together now!
So, Cat!
Cloak! White roses!
Thank you very much.
Maya, you didn't have to join in, did you? But it's fun shouting out with everyone else. There has to be a hole in his testimony somewhere. I agree, but do we have the proof to make something stick? All we can do is try, right, Nick? We've got to have something that'll prove useful. Alright, time to go to work. Alright, let's see here. What do we got? There's the hat. Hat, cloak, white roses. Okay. No. Alright, profiles. Nope. Alright, let's press this.
I'll give you that I was waiting that night for Regina.
So you were only concerned with waiting for Regina that night. That means you probably wouldn't have noticed if someone else showed up.
You should think about how many eyes I actually have. I got 4, you know. 4. F-O-U-R. Counting Ben, of course. But how many eyes do you really think something would have slipped by me?
4 eyes is an awful lot of attention directed to one area, I suppose.
Thanks, the judge is even more dangerous to our case than Trilo.
But that doesn't change the fact that I saw Max in the plaza that night.
Alright, let's press that. So you saw Max coming out of the big top that night.
Of course that's where I saw him coming from. I was staring at the entrance to the tent the entire time.
I guess that makes sense, especially since he was waiting for Regina.
He showed up after I've been waiting there for about 5 minutes. I said good evening to him, but he didn't even acknowledge my presence.
So you testified that you said good evening to Max that night.
You must enjoy asking incredibly obvious questions. You said good morning in the morning and good afternoon during the day, right? And it's obvious that I'd say good night to someone at night! What, Ben? You got something to add? Let me guess, that's not it, Trilo. You said good evening at night?
I'm sorry, Trilo. Mr. Quist, I would prefer if you kept your ventriloquist act outside of the courtroom.
Impossible! Our performer lives and breathes his performances. You should know better!
There's gotta be something wrong with this bit of testimony. Trilo's evening greeting? Okay. Isn't that a bit strange to you?
What do you mean?
Well, if you hate Max so much, why would you bother being nice to him? Strikes me as somewhat strange.
Why would it strike you as strange?
Exactly. How is it strange to be cordial to one of your coworkers? Well, I mean, if it was simply just being cordial to a coworker, I would understand. Ow! That hurt! Maybe you should think of having some proof before your lips start flapping next time. Proof is everything in this world. You should have learned that back in grade school. Well, it's funny you should mention that. There's no reason that Trilo would ever say something nice to Max. How do we go about proving that with the evidence? Bluffing is everything in this world, but I'm sure you already learned that one. I guess I can give it a shot.
The witness will resume his testimony.
Okay. So now we know that there's a problem with this statement, which means that I can present this. It's stupid, but... Trilo, is it not true that you had a fight with Max on the day of the murder? A fight? A fight over Regina, to be exact.
It wasn't that big of a deal. It was just an argument, a disagreement at most.
A disagreement usually doesn't end up with someone getting clonked over the head.
Ah!
That morning, Ben got clobbered over the head by Max, didn't he?
What? Is that an admission of assault and battery?
Ouch! Before we handle that, we should wrap up the defendant's murder charge first. The truth is, on the day of that crime, the defendant and witness had a huge fight. There's absolutely no way that it was suddenly become cordial that evening. Moreover, just consider the personality of the witness on the stand. There's no way a puppet this lewd would just say good evening to his rival.
Ah!
Are you saying this witness is lying? That he's trying to frame the defendant by claiming to have seen him at the crime scene?
I didn't tell a single lie, honestly. I just...
Well, you don't have a nose, so I suppose if we see one on you, that means you're lying. Of course, then again, Pinocchio was a marionette, not a ventriloquist dummy, so...
That's enough from you, Mr. Quist. Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor?
Let's clarify this testimony for the court. Could you explain your theory about who the witness actually saw that night?
Okay. Well, let's roll with this. He didn't see anyone. Of course, the witness didn't see a soul that night.
I see.
Who do you think you are just to up and decide what it is I saw that night?
A fool can only understand a foolish foolery uttered by the most foolish of fools. This witness didn't see anyone. You wouldn't happen to have proof to back up that statement, would you? Nick, I just thought of something. If Ben and Trilo really didn't see anyone that night, they wouldn't have testified that they greeted someone that night, would they? What do you mean? I think that Trilo really did say good evening to someone that night. But Trilo and Max, they were in the middle of a huge fight.
Maybe you should think this over some more on your own time, Mr. Wright. Let's clarify this testimony for the court. Could you explain your theory about who the witness actually saw that night?
He saw a different person. Let's see. It is my belief that the witness did indeed see someone that night. It was just someone else. That's who he said good evening to. What kind of theory is that? The correct one. Furthermore, I don't believe that the person saw the witness... I don't believe the person the witness saw was Max at all. What? If you truly met Max that night, there would have been no greeting at all. Which means there's only one proper answer. The person the witness saw that night was not Maximilian Galactica. That is why Trilo made the effort to greet whoever it was he saw that evening. Or good evening, as he put it. Ah! What in the world you...
Would the defense kindly explain who it was that Trilo saw that evening again, then?
Ah, boy. Considering the ill temper of this witness, there's only one person he would greet.
It must be Regina. It's Regina, right? She's so cute.
No, Your Honor, it's not Regina. If it was Regina, Trilo would have given her the engagement ring as a present.
Oh, yeah. I suppose you've got a point there.
It was Russell Berry, the victim himself, was it not? You are correct. It was indeed Russell Berry. The person you saw that evening was the victim, the ringmaster, Russell Berry. That's why you greeted him, Trilo, isn't it correct? Answer the question, Mr. Quist.
Ah! Ah!
Order! Order! How do you respond to this?
Wait a second! Well, at first I thought it was the old man, but once I got a better look at him, it was obviously Maximilian Galactica.
I think it is high time we clear the air about this question. Mr. Quist obviously witnessed a single person in the area of the plaza that evening. The problem is identifying exactly who that person was. Was it Maximilian Galactica? Or was it the ringmaster, one Mr. Russell Berry?
The prosecution argues that it was the defendant the witness saw that night. The witness has clearly stated that he saw the defendant's 3 symbols. 3 symbols?
Alright, this is getting old. Come on, man. You gotta remember that by now. Here we go again. Everyone, all together now. Go!
Yes, yes, we know. The silk hat, cloak, and white roses. A silk hat and a cloak. Anyone could wear them. They'd even look good on me. What was that? Well, the witness has endlessly repeated that he saw Max's 3 symbols. How do we really know that it was Maximilian Galactica? Could have been someone else dressed up as him. Possibly even Russell Berry. What?
Miss Von Karma, do you have clear evidence that the person the witness saw was the defendant?
Well,
If that's the case, then it's impossible for me to make a judgment at this point.
Yes, I think we've finally won a point in this one. That is very unfortunate. Huh? You're just a little too excited for your own good, Mr. Phoenix, Wright. What do you mean by that? You merely established one thing from this witness. You established that this witness saw one person in the plaza that night. I applaud you on your effort, but
But...
who that person was can only be answered by the next witness. Huh? Your Honor, the prosecution will provide, beyond a shadow of a doubt, an answer to that question and evidence that clearly establishes one thing. That there is no one other than Maximilian Galacticus responsible for this crime.
Very well. The court will take a 10-minute recess. During that time, I request the prosecution prepare their next witness. Court is now in recess.
Hello there. Hello there, Reeve. Thank you for joining. Glad you could make it. Alright, saving progress here. Okay, while court is in recess, I'm going to take a brief recess myself. But first, let me do this. Guys, check out Reeve. He's been playing Kirby in the Forgotten Land. He's going to be looking for a new game to play pretty soon because he's almost got that done. But great streamer, good friend of mine. Go check him out. All right, thank you for the lurk. Again, I will be taking a brief recess, so I will be right back. In the meantime, if you're a subscriber, enjoy the Be Right Back screen. Otherwise, enjoy the ads. And we're back. Okay, before we continue, I want to take a brief moment to address the absolute lunacy of the previous segment. How do I put this? Trilo... I mean, the argument is that Trilo first recognized this person as Russell Berry, and then recognized him as Max. Okay, here's the problem with that. If someone's walking towards you wearing a silk hat, cloak, and white roses, the first thing you notice is not going to be their face, but the silk hat, cloak, and white roses. He should have thought it was Max the whole time. It shouldn't have been until the guy got closer that he should have recognized him as Russell Berry, and then the whole situation would have been reversed. I think this is one of the reasons why people hate Turnabout Big Top, other than the fact that the characters just aren't that likable. But anyway. Or at least that one wasn't. This guy certainly isn't.
Sweetie, you have to believe me, I didn't go anywhere near that crime scene.
So then, where were you when the murder took place?
We talked about it yesterday, remember? I was in the ringmaster's room.
And while you were there, it was the ringmaster who left the room, right?
Exactly. He told me to wait in the room because he would be right back.
That's when the ringmaster headed to the scene of the crime, right? That's what it seems like. But the ringmaster must have been wearing Max's costume, right?
Oh, sweetie, I just remembered. I went straight to the ringmaster's room, still dressed in my stage clothes. But when I got there, I went ahead and took the costume off.
Which means?
It means that the ringmaster could have taken his costume and went out looking like Max. Fabulous, that's a fabulously possible possibility.
Well done, Nick.
However, sweetie, why would the ringmaster want to dress up like me? Isn't that a bit strange? If you think about it, all they found at the crime scene was my silk hat. What about my cloak? Where did that go?
Double, Wow, Max, I never thought of that. You should be a detective or something.
Well, I was never quite sure what to be when I grew up, magician or president. You have no idea how hard it was to make a decision.
That's really cool. Fabulous. This mystery just keeps getting deeper. Just hoping I don't have to... I'm just glad Trilo's not on the witness stand anymore.
Now that everyone is back, let's get started. The court is now back in session. Miss Von Karma, please proceed with the prosecution's case.
Very well. I will now call my next witness. A pitiful clown with the unfortunate distinction of having seen the entire thing. Will Mr. Lawrence Curls please take the stand?
Why did she just call him a pitiful clown?
The witness will state his name and occupation for the court record.
In West Clowndelphia, born and raised by...
Name and occupation!
Will the witness please inform the court why he's speaking an autobiographical gibberish? Oh. I'm sorry. I'm just not used to being in court. I've never been in a courtroom in my life. I wasn't quite sure what joke is best suited to this sort of occasion. What in the world are you talking about? You're in a grand hall of justice, not some comedy club. Since it's easy to see your occupation, please state your name for the court. Oh, yeah! Maybe this joke is okay. Mom, do I have to wear these pants? The sign only says no shirt, no shoes, no service. Okay, how about this? Have you met my proctologist, Dr. Seymour Butts? How is that one? But a couple of clowns who were up to no good, sir, making trouble.
Your name!
Lawrence Curls, professional funny man, also known as Mo the Clown.
You witnessed the scene around 10:15 p.m. the day of the murder, correct?
Yes, it is. Very well, Mr. Curls. Will you please testify to what you saw that evening? A rabbit and a priest and a Rastafarian walked into this plaza. Without the humor, please. Okay.
Aw, poor Mo can't be his normal stoogey self in the court. Lawrence Mo Curls.
I know. I'm not the greatest comedian in the world. I haven't been able to make people laugh for 10 years. No matter what I say, all I get in return is a vacant stare and polite applause. Since no one ever laughs at my jokes, I've taken to laughing at them myself. It's a bad habit, but hey, at least I'm trying. Imagine my predicament. I'm a clown who can't make people laugh. I'm almost useless. But I keep trying. I even tried to come up with jokes just for today. But this atmosphere is very nerve-wracking. I decided to try making everyone laugh. Seriously, everyone, what do you think of me? How am I doing?
Please tell me we do not have to cross-examine that nonsense. Aren't we the ones supposed to be asking the questions here? Witness?
Huh?
You will listen to your call for help after the court proceedings are over. Thus, please stick to the facts of this case.
Really? You'll hear me out?
Well, I'll make sure that one of my staff will be your straight man later.
Thank you. I can't wait.
Or Gumshoe.
Now that that's settled, shall we begin once again with the testimony? Of course we can. I'll talk for as long as you want. The night of the murder, after practice was over, I went straight back to my room. You have no idea how tired I was that night. I was pooped. I thought I'd go straight to sleep, but before I did, I glanced out the window. That's when I saw two silhouettes. They were a bit far away, though. It was the ringmaster, and he was with Max, who was wearing his cloak. I kept watching them, and all of a sudden, Max clonked the ringmaster over the head. That's very interesting. If this eyewitness account is to be believed, I have enough to pass judgment right now.
Of course you can. There is no way that this account can be criticized.
However, the witness is a bit, how do you say, off-kilter? Almost like he has some sort of atmosphere of guilt surrounding him. That must be because of my insincere smile. Mr. Wright, please begin the defense's cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. Nick, you've got to find some kind of contradiction in his testimony.
I know that!
Mr. Wright?
Your Honor?
I'm afraid that if you push this witness too far, it would bring disaster upon the court. Thus, I sincerely hope you're not going to engage in pointless saber-rattling.
I understand, Your Honor. If you cause this clown to stray from the facts, I'll hold you responsible. Why am I responsible? I'm not the one with the corny jokes.
The night of the murder, after practice was over, I went straight back to my room. You have no idea how tired I was that night. I was pooped. I thought I'd go straight to sleep, but before I did, I glanced out the window. That's when I saw two silhouettes. They were a bit far away, though. It was the ringmaster. He was whack, with Max, who was wearing his cloak.
You'd say you clearly saw this, even though you were, by your own admission, far away.
That's right. I had been thinking about it over and over since that night. But things didn't really make sense until I spoke with the prosecutor, Miss Von Karma. But now I'm 100% certain it was Max, the ringmaster, I saw that night. Just think about it. How could I be wrong if Max is always wearing his uppity symbols?
Uppity symbols.
Lawyers nowadays, you don't have to go to school anymore to be one. All right, everyone knows what to do. All together now. Say it with Uncle Mo. See what I mean? It's always like this. The crowd never wants to go along with me. I must really be utterly and completely worthless as a clown. Yowza!
Enough foolishness, get back on track!
Will the witness please testify as to what he saw, and only what he saw? I kept watching them, and all of a sudden Max clonked the ringmaster over the head.
You say you saw the ringmaster get clogged over the head.
Yes, I did! It's the climax of my story!
He really does enjoy the completely random non sequitur. What would you say the victim was struck with?
You mean the weapon? I have no idea! A weapon wasn't found in the murder scene, right?
That's not what I meant. You did say you did see everything, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I suppose I did. Wait, no, I didn't. I didn't see a weapon.
Mo? Did you or did you not see the crime of murder committed that night?
Objection!
I will not permit you to harass my witness in this manner. You better have an excellent reason for attacking this poor clown. Because if you don't, you know what is waiting for you. A nice penalty. Oh my. Isn't this a bit melodramatic? So what will it be then, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Do you have any clear basis to believe that my witness did not see the crime? Do I? Maybe the map? Okay, so Mo's house is on the first floor. Or Mo's on the first floor. See, blunt force trauma to the back of the head. Of course I don't. Well, see, right now I don't have a clear basis to be thinking that. Then this is just another one of your pointless efforts to badger my witness. Thus, you have just earned yourself a penalty from me!
Now, wait a second, Miss Von Karma. This time I don't feel the need to treat Mr. Wright so harshly.
That's right, what he said. Bailed out by the judge, what an honor indeed.
If we must penalize Mr. Wright for his display, I think a verbal censure would be best.
Huh?
You know the rules, Mr. Wright. There's no room for baseless outing in this courtroom.
Guess he didn't really bail me out after all. You know, Mo's testimony, what he told us yesterday, are kind of different. Yeah, I noticed. We just gotta pinpoint what's changed. You can do it, Nick. Okay, hold up here. What's going on here? Kept watching him, all of a sudden Max clonked the ringmaster over the head. Well, I guess there must be a... Okay.
Objection!
Let's see, etc., etc. I suppose I should probably save here. Of course I do. Of course I have grounds to make this claim. Then let's hear it. That's something I can't share with you at this time.
What did you just say, Mr. Wright?
I know there's something wrong with this testimony, but I can't put why I feel this way into words for the judge. Maybe we should get a bit more information. Once we find something more solid, we can give it another shot. Yeah, you're right.
Mr. Wright, before we resume testimony, you know that you must be penalized.
What?
You have got to be kidding me. We get penalized no matter what we do on that press? That's BS. Of course I don't. Alright, so let's skip past his penalty. Okay, so...
The night of the murder, after practice was over, I went straight back to my room.
You'd say that practice wrapped up around 10 p.m., correct?
See, that's the thing.
Huh?
How exactly am I supposed to make a joke about 10 p.m.? Now, 8 o'clock, that's something a clown can riff off of. Let's just pretend it was 8 o'clock. That way I can make a great joke.
Let's not. Let's not make it 8 p.m., alright, Mo?
What do you mean, let's not? Don't take the clown out of clowning around.
Come on, Nick, just listen to his joke. There are 3 reasons why I don't do. 1, I probably won't laugh. 2, I'll get hit with a penalty. 3, I'll get whipped! Will the witness just proceed with his factual testimony? You're so boring.
You have no idea how tired I was that night. I was pooped.
You were pooped that night?
Yes, I was very, very tired. Not to mention I had some bad Mexican food.
What?
A double cheese double. Double cheese double bean enchilada is a dangerous menu item. What happened after that? As I say, happens. That was cool, huh? I hear the kids really love toilet humor these days.
That joke was so hip, I don't want to ruin it with a reply.
I've got a good reply, though. That joke was so funny, it just earned you a penalty.
What?!
I thought I'd go straight to sleep, but before I did, I glanced out the window.
You just happened to glance out of the window?
You can say that. You can also say I peeked, stared, glimpsed, peeped, eyeballed. Mr. Curls! Oh, I guess synonyms aren't allowed either.
What should I do? I wonder if I should press him further on this issue. Ah, that's a good sign. Keep pressing. Exactly why did you look out your window that night?
Why? Why? Clowns don't need a reason to look out their windows, do they?
That's not what I meant. I meant that, well, when we spoke yesterday...
Once I had tucked myself into bed, I heard this amazing noise. It was incredibly loud. I sounded like a giant thump.
Now, you see, this is why I need to actually play these things straight through, but unfortunately my voice won't allow that, so...
Oh yeah! I forgot about that.
Forgot? Your Honor, the witness looked out of his window upon hearing a loud sound. He did not simply just glance out of his window that night.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to mention that thump, didn't I? Ow!
That's not something you just forget to mention! Yeah, what she said. I believe it would be best if Mo were to revise his testimony.
Very well. Mr. Curls, please revise your testimony.
They should start turning the tables in our favor.
I heard a huge noise out the window, and that's what made me take a look outside.
Alright, let me do this here. I'm gonna save again, just to be safe, because holy cow, this testimony is so unfair. What was the sound like?
Well, I guess it kinda sounded like, I guess you could say, Mr. Curls, may the court remind you that humor is unnecessary. No! How'd you know that I was gonna make a joke? I guess that the sound sounded like I suppose it sounded like someone getting hit with something very hard. Yep, that's what it sounded like, honestly. Someone getting hit, huh?
What then? You went to look out the window and you saw... Okay. Now we press this. Yeah, say so the ringmaster get clocked over the head.
You didn't see a weapon, did you, or did you not see this? Do you have grounds to be accusing this clown? Or of not seeing the crime? Of course I do. I got a great reason to make my claim. And I suppose you will be telling us all that great reason? Of course I will. The reason is the witness's very own testimony.
What is the meaning of that, Mr. Wright?
Mo said that he heard a sound like a thump of someone getting hit.
He did say that.
However, Mo just stated the following under oath.
I kept watching them, and all of a sudden, Max clonked the ringmaster over the head.
If Mo is to be believed when he says he looked out of the window upon hearing a sound, there's no way he could have seen Max clonk anyone.
In 1972, a clown unit was sent. Mr. Curls, how do you respond to Mr. Wright's assessment? I didn't commit. These clowns promptly escaped from a maximum security cloud car. Mr. Curls, are you reciting the C-Team thing to anger this court? No. I'm just stalling for time while I jog my memory.
Great job, Nick. These types of witnesses always seem to have a selective memory. You just have to peel back the layers of the clown maker to find the truth.
Well, you're back from your jog? Well, it pretty much happened the way I said.
Pretty much.
When I looked out my window that night, the ringmaster was already face down in the snow. The prosecution helped me fill in the gaps in my statement.
Von Karma! Tampering with witnesses again.
So now you're saying that you did not see the defendant clonk the ringmaster? Yes. When I looked out my window, the ringmaster had already checked out. Checked out? Yep, he was on permanent vacation, as they say. Mr. Curls! Your Honor, you did not witness the actual crime. However, you still say you saw the criminal, correct? Yes, exactly. The ringmaster was slumped over, and I saw someone's silhouette next to him. Very well, then please testify to the silhouette you saw. I expect the truth. And if I even catch a hint of a joke from you, I will put you in a holding cell until you learn court etiquette. Got it? Got it. It was a bit far away, but that shadow could have only belonged to Max. There's no doubting it, especially since I saw his uppity symbols. His silk hat, that black cloak, they were all there. His face was silhouetted, but there was no doubt it was him. His cloak was fluttering in the wind, so I couldn't really see what he was carrying. It does seem as if the defendant was at the scene of the crime.
It took the clown long enough to get his facts straight, but whatever, this should be finally good enough, yes?
It is decisive testimony.
Was Max really at the crime scene that night? He said he wasn't there. We have to believe in that.
All right, Mr. Wright, commence your cross-examination.
Alright, let's see here. I mean, that looks like a purple cloak to me. But I don't think that's the contradiction for some reason. Anyway, get a save just to be safe.
It was a bit far away, but that shadow could have only belonged to Max. Don't care why. There's no doubting it, especially since I saw his uppity symbols. His silk hat, that black cloak, they were all there.
Ah, I was right. You say you saw all of Max's uppity symbols.
I suppose so. The silk hat and the cloak, right?
Mo, everyone knows that Maximilian Galactica has 3 uppity symbols.
3 symbols?
Yay, everyone get ready. All together now. Silk hat, cloak, white roses.
What the?
Who cares if he knew that there were 3 or not? He saw what he saw, and he saw the symbols. He just forgot to mention one. Isn't that right, Mo?
Do you like pie? I love pie. 3.14.
Silence, fool. You are to respond with the whole truth, no fractions.
Order.
Mo, you didn't see the roses, did you? How is that a big deal?
To be honest, there weren't any roses on the person I saw.
The crime scene was dark. It was obvious. It's obvious it was too dark to see that kind of detail. But the witness said he was able to see the silhouette of the criminal's face. Not to mention that the roses are white. There's no way he could have missed them. Then the roses must have fallen off when the defendant assaulted the victim. If that's the case, why the police would have found them near the crime scene?
Mr. Wright, are these white roses truly material to the facts of this case?
Clearly not. He's just toying with this court. I got her on the ropes now. These seemingly insignificant facts have never failed to lead me to the truth yet. Someone is toying with the court, but it's not me. Your Honor, do you recall Trilo's testimony?
There's no way I can mistake someone wearing those three ridiculous symbols. How can you mistake someone with that crazy getup and his nose stuck up so high? How can you mistake someone wearing such a snobby three-piece getup?
Trilo saw them all. Trilo saw all three of Max's symbols. However, this witness claims there were no white roses on the person he saw. There's absolutely no doubt that this is a contradiction.
Now what am I supposed to think? One is supposed to disregard the pointless, but this...
Judge, forget the roses. Think about his other testimony. The witness has stated without a doubt that he saw Maximilian Galactica. Nothing else matters. Let's wrap this case up now. Your Honor, it may be trivial, but it does cast doubt on the prosecution's case.
Frankly, I have my doubts about this witness. It seems that, unlike wine, this witness has not grown more mature with age. I'm not mature. I've come to a conclusion. I'm 99% certain that this words. I'm 99% certain that this witness saw the defendant. However, the remaining 1% of doubt is quite reasonable, which means that for my peace of mind, I'm going to request a bit more testimony.
What?
If there are no contradictions in his next statement, I'm prepared to issue a ruling.
A ruling? Nick, this is your last chance.
There's no doubt in my mind there were no white roses that night. However, all the other symbols were there. I'm equally sure of that. Especially the silk hat. There's no way I could forget seeing the decorations on it.
Interesting. Yeah, that's about right.
He was wearing it the entire time that he was on the scene. Mr. Wright, you've got one last chance at this.
Just one chance.
I will not allow even the slightest hint of badgering against this witness. If you're going to prove to me that there's a contradiction with Mr. Curl's statement, you'd better have at least a shred of evidence to back up your accusations.
I got a single shot at this. I gotta be careful. I understand, Your Honor. One chance is all I will need.
There's no doubt in my mind there were no white roses that night.
Alright, say it again.
However, all the other symbols were there. I'm equally sure of that. Especially the silk hat. There's no way I can forget seeing the decorations on it.
What's this? No, be honest. Ow! No, nope, nope, nope. Load. No white roses that night. However, all the other symbols were there. I'm equally sure of that. guess this is it. Nope, that's not it either. Alright. No one was. No. Okay, so I can't press anything.
He was wearing it the entire time that he was on the scene.
What do you think, Nick? There's no way I'm gonna lose after coming this far. There's gotta be an answer, and it's probably in the court record. Wearing it the entire... Oh, there it is. Hey, Kishu, thank you for joining. Glad to have you here, and thank you for the resub. Appreciate you. How's it going? Hold on here. Going okay. Good to hear. Good to hear. Come on here. Oh, just got home from the theater. Ah, nice, nice. One moment here. There we go. And guys, check out Kishu's channel. She's been playing Phasmophobia. She's got a lot of her other variety that she streams as well. She'll even stream pet grooming. If you were into watching dogs and cats get all prettified and everything. She's a good friend of mine, so go check her out. Alright, so let's see here. Where was I?
He was wearing it the entire time he was on the scene.
Alright, so the fact that this was found at the crime scene would contradict that. Okay. This wouldn't happen to be the silk hat you saw that night, would it?
Yep, that's it. That's the hat he was wearing that night.
No question in your mind?
Exactly how would one mistake a thing like that?
I see.
Is there some sort of problem, Mr. Wright?
Miss Von Karma, where exactly was the silk hat found? Must you always ask these questions? It was found at the crime scene. The crime scene? That means... The silk hat fell off at the crime scene. However, the witness clearly testified to the contrary. The witness stated that he was wearing it the entire time he was on the scene.
No! That's not true! Order! 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 Mr. Curls! Yes, Your Honor. What is the meaning of all this? You're old enough to know better than to behave like this in court. Hey, that's just not right. That's so harsh. What is not right here is your eyesight and your memory, amongst other things. Why are you being so mean to me? What did I do? Let me guess. You just didn't like my jokes or something, right? You didn't have to go and insult my eyesight and my memory. They're both great. Seriously, why? Just because you're sitting above me doesn't mean belong. No matter how old I get, I'll always be younger than you. Enough of these childish outbursts, Mr. Curls. Who do you think you are? I saw him! I swear I saw him! It was Max! Even if he didn't have his roses, he was still wearing his dumb silk hat! I'm telling the truth!
He's turned into a bratty little kid. It's pitiful, isn't it?
He left the scene wearing that dumb silk hat! He was there!
He left the scene? What's the matter, Nick? There's something I've been mulling over for a while now. No.
What do you want?
You just said that he left the scene. Exactly how did the murderer leave the scene of the crime?
What? He went... What do you mean, how did he leave the scene? You can't ask me that!
Objection!
Mr. Phoenix Wright is badgering the witness, Your Honor.
Objection!
This witness's testimony is so full of holes, Miss Von Karma's This witness's testimony is so full of holes, Miss Von Karma's protest is useless.
You've got a point. Let's hear what the witness has to say on this matter. Is that alright with you, little guy? Don't talk to me like a little baby! Besides, what kind of stupid question is how did he leave the crime scene? The answer's obvious. He just turned around and walked away.
That's what I expected you to say. You sure that's how it happened?
Say what? Huh? I'm not sure I know exactly where you're going with this. Lawyers nowadays sure do love to harp on the smallest things. Do you have any proof to counter his story as to how the criminal left the scene?
Oh, I don't know.
Take that!
Look at this picture. The problem is the footprints in the snow.
Footprints?
In this photo, we can clearly see the footprints of the victim. However, where are the criminals' footprints? They aren't there! So, Mo, exactly how did the criminal escape the scene? Your Honor, this witness has already proven that his testimony is completely unreliable. I move to strike all of this witness's testimony from the court record.
I agree. This clown's testimony is as rickety as the clown car he came to court in. Wait just a second! You guys can't just ignore everything I said! Fine, I'll tell you the truth this time!
You wait a second! I think you've said more than enough for today.
That didn't hurt! I'm sick and tired of listening to you anyways! I'll give you the real deal this time, I swear!
I don't know why, but I get the feeling things are gonna get worse before they get better.
Mr. Lawrence Curls. Yes! The testimony you've provided up until now has been false? It hasn't been false! I haven't lied! It's just what? It's just I was a bit confused on the bit about the criminal leaving the scene. Especially since Von Karman and Whip told me not to talk about what I really saw. Order! Order! I will have order! Franziska Von Karma, how could you?
Your Honor, if you had heard the truth from this witness, you would have exactly the same opinion as I have.
What opinion is that?
It's not funny.
That's enough out of you. I'm going to listen to what he has to say. Now then, let's hear the truth about what you say you saw, Mr. Curls. Ha! You're not gonna believe this, but it's all true, I tell ya.
Try not to waste our time with your idiotic drivel.
Now it's time for our next segment, Mo Knows! Everything that I've said up until now has been the truth. When I looked out the window, the ringmaster was down, and Max was standing above him. He wasn't wearing his white roses, but he was wearing the silk hat. That's what I saw. This is the truth now, get ready for it! He flew! He jumped up and flew through the air! He flew right off and disappeared into the darkness! That's why there were no footprints! Flying people don't leave footprints!
I told you it wasn't funny. Do you believe me now?
Well, that was, how do you put this into words?
Maximilian Galactica is a world-class magician, but to leave the scene of the crime by flying, there's no way that actually happened.
You're right. Why is she right? You believe the other witnesses? Why would you believe me? Especially since it's the best part of the story. To be honest, this is the first time I've heard of a flying criminal. What do you think about this witness's testimony, Mr. Wright?
He's telling the truth? What he just said was so strange, I don't think you would have made it up.
Which means that he's telling the truth?
That's what I think. Nick, wait! That means that Max actually used magic! Yikes, you're right! Ow! Only a foolish-looking fool could be fooled by such a foolish fool's foolish dream! Don't be ridiculous, magic does not exist!
Maybe you should go help Battler.
I suppose I will let you all in on my thinking regarding this matter. The criminal disappeared into the sky. I'd love to believe that, but I just can't wrap my head around how that could actually happen.
You imbecile!
If you disregard a need for proof, Miss Sun, Karma's case is sound. However, I've got the feeling this case is in dire need of more investigation. Thus, I will conclude today's proceedings at this point. It's an undisputed fact that the criminal left no footprints at the scene. Tomorrow, I want us to find out the reason behind this mystery of mysteries. I believe that's enough for today. Court is adjourned.
Hey, sweeties, what in the world is going on? That's what I want to know. They say the criminal flew off into the air and disappeared. Max, I can't believe I'm asking this, but you didn't fly that night, did you? I know you didn't mean to ask me such a fabulously stupid question. I can't fly whenever I please, it's not that easy. But it looks so effortless for you on stage. It's not that simple, I'm not actually flying on stage. I use invisible wires and have them hoist me through the air. Wow, you just told me the secret to your magic. No, I broke the first rule, the cardinal rule, the only rule. I'm sorry, Max. We made you break a magician's creed to never reveal the secret to their tricks. Nick, what do we do now? All we can do now is hope we find the flying criminal in court tomorrow. Great idea. Let's do our best and catch this sucker. Well, that's a pickle, because I don't want to end the stream here, but at the same time, last week's investigation took me 2 hours, and there's no real good stopping point mid-investigation because I'm going to forget everything I'm supposed to do. Boy. Okay, let me think. Maybe there's an alternative. Maybe there's an option here. I don't know. Let's see who is online right now. All right, you know what? I am going to go ahead and call it here. My voice could use a break considering I just spent an hour cross-examining the puppet, and that's, yeah, I don't need to do any more tonight. So, we're going to go ahead and give Full Shot 2600 a raid. He's doing some art right now. But let's see. Oh, I will not be back tomorrow because I have got a place I need to be. I will be back on Sunday with, let's see, I should be wrapping up Near Replicant then. I'll definitely be wrapping up Route D at least. And then Wednesday, I will probably play some more Death Stranding. Next Thursday is when I will be picking this back up. So please join me for that. I'll be glad to have you here. In the meantime, this is Dr. Novelle signing out for the evening. Hope you all have a good one. Let's begin the raid.